side. Are there any questions under the creditor side? All right. In your stock control, we'll be doing a GRV. The GRV process is pretty simple. You can see here our current GRVs. We're going to add a new GRV. We select the account, GRV date. Remember, enter is the magic button. Make sure you click on enter. All right, so if you have done a purchase order previously, you can put it by order number and it will pick it up. Document type, tax invoice. Free stock GRV, no. Reference, test. The document total that you received, 1250. Tonnage really out. So I don't know if everyone saw, but as soon as I pressed the enter, this section appeared. It was not there before all of these details were filled in. Once they were filled in, this side appeared. Now on your GRV, you can add the line on of item, of the stock item. You can either select the question mark, or you can type in the stock code if you know the stock code. The selected item is not for this supplier. It's not for this. You can fill in all the relevant information, your quantity, your price exclusive, your discount exclusive, your VAT, your total. It will auto-populate. You can then select and it will appear here. The big thing to remember is that your document total must be the same as this total.
Sorry, Alex.
This GRV.
Alex?
Yes, I can hear you.
Where can you make allowance for a rounding issue? Say you're receiving stock from overseas, you've worked it out on an Excel spreadsheet, your costing sheet basically, and you're out with like 30 cents or 2 Rand or something. Where can you make provision for that rounding issue?
Okay, I'll answer that question, right? So you can go on the document, you can say the document charges, etc. So you can amend the total of the GRV, or you can set a tolerance, how much tolerance, etc. there needs to be, right, on the GRV to make sure that it balances exactly to the document. So you'll see there's an inclusive and exclusive amount, and you'll see a document total on top. So you can put into the system, sorry, how much is the tolerance between the two of them, right? And you can set the tolerance, and if so, you can manually update the GRV total at the bottom to equal to that as well, Leanne.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So it's exactly for that reason. So if you don't want it to be 1% more than the document, you can amend it towards that. And then you can also park the GRV and come back to it, as you guys know. And also with our GRVs, you can save it and then it doesn't go to stock and in GL. And then we've got an option called authorize. Once you've done the authorization, only then it goes into the stock and into the GL.
All right, thanks, Kinloch. Here you'll see that that item that I added appeared here in the, I went out and I went into the Coke one, as the other one didn't have enough information in to appear here. So this one was Coke. I selected that item and it came here. So you'll see here's your GRV total, which is inclusive. You can then save it. You can park it. As Kinloch explained, you can park the GRV. You can split the credit totals, the document charges, the document discounts, and the GRV tallies. Here's the GRV number. In the drop-downs, you'll see there's the defaults for default warehouse, whichever warehouse is relevant. System information, so dates, time, user code, machine. Here you can select sub accounts if relevant. You can put sub account name with the contacts. If the totals do not match and you want to save, it is definitely going to pop up with an error. You're going to have to make sure that the totals do match. If not, you can click on F10, save, and this will save it. And it will appear here. Once you have done your GRV, you'll see the status. You'll see the GRV is open, the GRV is parked. As explained, it's the parked ones. Here's also a filter that you can use. All GRVs opened, parked. We know there was one parked one, so they had appeared. There's the one open one, and there's all the GRVs. So for this open one, which is a test, you can click on authorize if you want to authorize it. F7 or click on update selling price. Let's wait for it to open. Here you'll see on that item, you can update the price. Under indicators, F11 or indicators, you can click on indicators or you can press on F11. Here's the document status indicators. This will give you all that information. We can then select print the GRV. In the print option, you'll then see the receiving sheets, print the GRV, the recon sheet, the claim sheet, the GP percentage report, the GRV quantities. I'll select the print GRV. And this will show you that specific GRV that we are busy with. There's the number. There's the details. It's a nice layout as well. What you can also do is you can save this as printed as a PDF. You can save it as a PDF as well as view it in Excel. Once open in Excel, it will show it in grid format. You can email this from Genesis. Use Outlook to mail. The email will have to be specified. You send it to the address. your subject, your main body text, and you can send the mail straight from here. Once we are done with this specific GRV, it will have to be authorized. You click on the authorized GRV. It'll show up this screen. You press yes. I'm not going to authorize it as of yet because someone is busy with this GRV in the test simulation, and I might just bother them if I had to accept it now. But once you have authorized, it'll say your authorization has been successful, and there you go. You have done a GRV. And we all know that that's one of hundreds of GRVs that will have to be processed. It is quite tedious, but this process speeds it up quite a lot, and it becomes muscle memory. You just press enter, enter, you select the relevant information, enter, enter, and there you go. I'm sure everyone knows when you go to a store and they're busy with GRVs, it looks like magic. You just see screens opening and closing the whole time. Under the transactions, we have the supplier return. Here you can select new return. You can go to the specific account, the creditor that you want, select it. You'll have to, let me just go into one. There you go. This will appear. Here you have your return date, your VAT indicator, inclusive, exclusive, no VAT, your GRV number, your supplier doc number. You can click on the little icon there. This will appear with the creditor name and all the references to it. You can click on the default warehouse if specified, and then click on save once you are done with that. Once your supplier return has been done, you'll see it will populate up here. You'll then have to authorize it. As previously, it will show yes or no. You can click on it and it will tell you congratulations, or it was going to give you a little bit of a negative comment where you'll have to go back and you're going to have to amend to make sure that it is correct. You'll see here, here's all the current supplier returns. Under the filter, open only, authorized only, or all. In that one that I clicked, the South African breweries, here is all the relevant information to that specific one. Nice thing about this as well is you can then import to CSV. And this will auto-populate all if in the right means. Adjustments and issues. You'll see here are adjustments you can then create. Yes, you can create a new one. This is what it looks like. In the adjustment, here's the reason. There's a damage. You can save the adjustment. You can add a line, say that specific item. Enter, 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 save, minus adjustment. And it will populate down here at the bottom. Here you can save the adjustment. Nice option here as well as under utilities, you get the import on hands, import items, import previous adjustment, or import the CSV, which will then populate underneath here. You can select your on hand, your transaction statement under inquiries, and you have the adjustment history. Here's adjustment notes. Under our transaction, we have our transfers. This is really interesting as you have an interbranch transfer and you have your warehouse transfer. We're going to select the interbranch transfer. We're going to be doing an interbranch transfer. Here you can do reference number, interbranch transfer, enter default warehouse, to branch, simulation, to warehouse, default warehouse, branch category, you'll see. What do we want to transfer? We go to our stock code. We select the item that we want to transfer. Quantity, we're going to select 1. This is our item that we're going to transfer to the default warehouse. We can then click on the Save, IBT, Interbranch Transfer, or click on F10 on our keyboard. Alternatively, we can import CSV. We can even import a GRV. We can then make an amendment to the line, go back into it, say we wanted to use 5, and there we go, quantity has been amended. If we made an error on that, we can delete the line and we can start afresh, or we can just import, depending on if you want to import the whole GRV or manually do it. That's the inter-branch transfer. Pretty user-friendly. Once you have done the inter-branch transfer, you're going to have to authorize it. As previously, when you click on the authorize, it shows the yes or no option. You can select the option. If there is an error, it's going to say, unfortunately, you cannot process it. You'll have to go back and just see where the error is and amend that. Otherwise, you'll be prompted to the authorization page where it tells you that it was successful. Once you've got multiple interbranch transfers here, you can then view it under your prints. You can search for the interbranch transfer number or date, depending on which way you'd like it to be searched from. Under warehouse transfers, you'll see here is warehouse transfers that have been recently done. We can go into that. Either you can select insert for a new transfer, enter for viewer update, delete. Once you have selected the specific one that you want, you'll be prompted to this page. Here you can select the transfer date. You'll see that there's a document number, the details from the default warehouse to damages. These notes, very nice, because then you can see on the other side that as to why it was transferred. How many bottles were then damaged, what was damaged, etc., etc. Nice option is you get the import option, the import plus quantity, import minus quantity. You can then add an item here, stock code, your quantity with the description, cost, etc. Save it. Under this one, as you can see, the transfer quantity may not exceed the on-hand value. I selected 5, and our on-hand is a negative, so it prompted this error. So we cannot transfer that item. Now we need to find out as to why we have negative on-hand and amend and alleviate. Once done, we F10, save transfer. The transfer display filter, see all transfers, specific transfer that you want to authorize. You click on the authorize. Transfer date is not current. That's a good example as to what will happen if you click on the authorize. The date will have to be amended to current. Once that has been done, you'll see that it will change to the authorized status once you have authorized it. The specific authorized, we're going to go in and we're going to have a look at what it looks like. There you go. Here's the report on the warehouse transfer. That item, that quantity, from warehouse to warehouse, the date, the reference, and here's that nice little block that gives us the notes if we put any notes in. Are there any questions regarding anything under the transfers? All right, we're going to go over to the master files in stock control. We've already done this. Was how to create a stock item. That was the first thing that we did. All right. Now we'll be having a look at the promotions.